Welcome to Agency for Agents, a podcast for real estate team leaders and independent brokerage owners looking to maximize profits, effectiveness, and gain freedom for their team and business. Your hosts, Christine Andreasen and Aaron Hendon, have been running one of the most successful real estate teams in the Seattle area for more than 8 years. They know building a winning team means finding ways to empower, nurture, train, and develop individual agents to discover their own power, their own agency. On the podcast, Christine and Aaron interview thought leaders in real estate and personal growth to help you impact both your performance and your teams. We know it takes a lot, and leaders and brokers that crack that code reap the rewards of success greater than any they could ever achieve on their own.
All right, so.
Well, Sarah, tell us about you. Tell us about,
Yes.
What you do and how you got started. I was reading a little bit in your bio about your background.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really great. And I heard you guys are doing awesome things too, from James, who set this up for us on my team. But I'm Sarah Richardson, and I'm the founder and CEO of Tru Realty. We're an Arizona-based independent brokerage. We've really garnered our reputation over the last decade for our education. We are really, really, really good at taking agents directly out of school and putting them through a training and a mentorship program and turning them into closers. The national average, depending on where you are in the country, is 6 to 9 months to get your first deal in escrow directly out of school. 43% of our mentees have their first deal in escrow within 3 months. So we are definitely exceeding the national average and getting our people up and running quickly. We tend to have a younger brokerage, a little bit more tech savvy. Our median agent house is under 40, where the average or the median age of a realtor is somewhere in the mid 50s. It depends on what stat you're looking at. But ultimately, we're a younger brokerage that's definitely more tech savvy and focused on education specifically.
Awesome.
And well, let's do a deeper dive on that. I'd love to know more. I mean, this is exactly the kind of thing we started the podcast because I'm like, I want to know what other people are doing. Tell me about the education program. What does it look like? Is it up on Kajabi? Do you do one-on-one mentorship? Is there a mentor that's accountable?
Yes, absolutely. It's all of the above. So the agents are required, if they've done 5 transactions or less, so sometimes there's people that have been struggling in the business, but most of them are new directly out of school. They're required to go through a 3-week program. It's 100% in a Zoom environment. And we were doing that before COVID. So we were ready for COVID when COVID happened, which was so nice. But it's a 3-week program. It's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. We do record those. So if, we have part-time agents that want to go back and take at the end of the day, they can absolutely do that. And it really goes over the fundamentals of growing a business, how to navigate through your MLS, how to negotiate an advocate in the purchase contract, what's in the purchase contract, how to work with buyers versus working with sellers, what does fiduciary look like, how to navigate and manage your database, how to work with vendors, what does it look like to, juggle an escrow, what does the communication look like, how to comp a property, what does your buyer presentation look like, what does your listing presentation look like, all the different ways of prospecting, that's the big one. And then we usually end the 3 weeks with a business planning session, and we map out the next 12 months for them. We look at how much time they have, how much money they want to make, where their focuses are going to be. We don't want them to focus on all the ways we've taught them how to prospect. We want them to maybe pick 2 or 3 that really resonate with them and get massively focused on those. When they're finished with the 3-week program, then they're in a coaching and a mentoring and accountability program for 13 transactions. And you guys know how long a new agent can take to do 13 transactions. That's not overnight. So we're seeing anywhere from 6 months up to 2 years for an agent that will stay and remain in that coaching and mentoring program until they can hit our highest split, which is at the 14th transaction. So we're not sending them out in the world of real estate after that 3-week program. There's all different kinds of accountability forms. There's live coaching sessions. There's meetings. There's things that we highly encourage. They're 1099. We can't say you have to do this, but I mean, we highly encourage that they, go through this 13 transaction mentorship and coaching program, which really helps them feel that they have the backbone to go out there and do what they need to do.
That's great. And when you're in the mentor program, what's the split, and how do they get when they get out? How do you break that out?
So their first three transactions are at a 65-35 split. And then we've got them at an 80-20 split for 10 transactions. And that's that 13. And then on the 14th, they move to a 90-10 split with a 15 cap. Nice. But it takes them 14 transactions to get to that. During those 13 transactions, live coaching sessions, tech training, conversion classes, overcoming objection classes, business planning. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of the things that, we really highly encourage them to attend.
Awesome.
Great. And is there, so the sessions are recorded. Do you have stuff set up on we use Kajabi, but something like that where people can review various
the modules? Yeah.
We are building that right now, actually.
Cool.
And this is your you run a brokerage. You don't run a team in your brokerage.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. We've got 5 teams. We've got a $120 million team, a $60 million, a $40 million. So we've got other teams within the brokerage. Yeah.
Awesome. Good. What's your favorite part about it all?
Oh, it's changed. It has. It's changed its form over the years. It used to be, I was the designated broker for 8 years. So I absolutely loved the helping and the legal side and, helping agents get their contracts accepted. And then it turned more into the coaching and the tech side of things. And now that that's all integrated, really, it's now my passion really is our expansion and helping agents, not through Arizona, but through other states for sure too.
Fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so how many agents in Arizona and where are you expanding to?
We're expanding throughout the U.S. right now. We've got conversations going with several brokers of record throughout the U.S. But right now we've got a little over 130 agents and we've brought on several business development people in the last few months. And so that's our goals are scaling quickly where we want to double in size here pretty soon.
Wow. It's huge.
Yeah, we're taking a bigger swing. We've always really maintained anywhere between 100 and 125 agents the last 5 years. And we put some people in place to help us grow and expand a lot more.
That's great.
Did you bring on recruiters, or when you say business development?
I don't like to use the word recruiter.
Oh, okay. Why not?
They don't like to be called that either, actually. It's more, like a talent scout. Somebody that, can help us identify, what our core values are, who's the agent. We're really big into that growth mindset. We've always been a company of education. And, we've got, I would say 80% of our agents have graduated into that 90-10. But because they've gone through that whole entire process, it's all about collaboration and giving back. And so I don't know where I was going with this thought. I know you asked me a question.
You said, did you hire recruiters?
But yes, we do. We've hired talent scouts to help us bring on agents, and we built some tech around that as well to help drive traffic and get them people that may be interested in us based on our core values and the things that they're learning about what we do to see if they're a good fit for us. Because as you guys know, not everybody's a good fit.
Yeah,
and you need to find your person, and you need to advertise and market according to the people you want to find.
Yeah, culture is probably one of our biggest things as well. You got to fit with our team, or you don't fit.
Yeah.
So you said you had part-time agents and full-time agents, and in any brokerage, that's pretty normal, right?
Yes.
And you don't manage for one or the other. People can come into the brokerage. If they're a cultural fit, they get to pick their own production levels.
Absolutely. Yeah. We don't have any quotas for that. And it's really hard with new agents. We tested that for a few years back, and it's really hard because life happens. And when you're going for a community of agents that are seasoned, that have an established business, I think that that's applicable. But when you're taking somebody that knows nothing about this and trying to mold them into a producer, you've got to be very gentle and loving and caring and giving back. And it's a heroic thing that we're doing because new agents are labor intensive.
Yeah,
for sure. Yes, they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We deal with that our own selves. Right?
Yeah, you get it.
Like, where do you draw the line? At what point do you say? But it's a little different because we're EXP, so we have a stake at the brokerage, but we're running a team.
Yeah.
And it's like, where do you draw the line? Can somebody just be there not producing for 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
Or are we?
That's tough.
It is, because we're like, wait, one of the things in our culture is it's not okay to fail,
Yeah.
And it's that balance with these baby agents.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it that way.
When to cut the cord, when not to cut the cord.
Right.
Yeah,
it's hard. And what else do you find to be the most challenging aspect of bringing up? We really are now talking about raising kids,
raising children.
Well,
Rearing.
it's at least an app.
Rearing agents.
Rearing that's right. We just used the bike analogy this morning, right? Someone was failing at lead gen. We were like, look, the hardest part of riding a bike is the concrete. So you're going to fail. Just so raising kids is really the metaphor of the day. Where's the bottleneck for you? Where's the most challenge in having new agents pop through to being productive?
Well, what we found is they come out of the gate really strong. They're excited. They've got probably, everybody knows about 3 people. Statistically, they're going to get, those first 3 deals done, and they get to that 80-20 split and they're excited. And then reality kicks in. And we find that new agents get really achieved between 6 and 12 months. And it's the retention piece that we're trying to get better at as an organization, because keeping them motivated between 6 and 12 months, between leaving the business altogether, which many of them do, or going to another place where they feel maybe the grass is greener. And many of our agents actually come back. We had about 7 come back already this year because it isn't greener, but it's keeping them motivated, finding ways that we can switch their mindset, get them motivated, figure out what they've been doing wrong, why they're not reflecting on their business plan. Maybe they're in a rut, and really trying to revive their business has been our biggest struggle with new agents. That 6 to 12 month marker is rough. And I think that that's a pretty industry standard thing, is, trying to find a way to get them excited again about real estate.
Yeah. No, that's definitely.
Especially once they get outbid, lose a house, lose a client, then it's like picking them back up off the ground.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then the biggest hurdle that we've come across is that, after those 3, after they've gone through the low hanging fruit in their life, is having them deal with, okay, well, we only take full time. So, this is your full-time job.
This is your career, not your hobby.
This is not a hobby. That means if you don't have any clients, that means you really are on the phone or somewhere 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, finding business. That's the business of real estate, is finding the business. So I got you sold your mom's house. That's great. Now here's the 3,000 people in this database, or here's Tru Realty, or go stand outside the supermarket or something. Right?
Yes.
You don't have anything else to do with your 8 hours. Let's go. And that's the biggest.
So out of curiosity, you guys, it sounds like you do similar to what we do, in that you're really teaching them how to grow the business. You're not handing them a warm lead. You're showing and you're training them to hunt.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, even if you get, what's a warm lead? I mean, I've talked to
That's an argument for a whole nother day, right?
Right. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
The Glengarry leads. I got the Glengarry right here.
But it's funny, one of the agents we were just talking about this morning, she's 90 days in, and she listened to some podcast, make $60,000 in the next 90 days. You just have to talk to 40 people a day, right? So she's like, I'm talking to 40 people. 2.5 hours later, she's crying because she's only talked to 13. I'm like, that's spectacular. You triple that and you got a full day's work and you got your 40 people, but it starts to look so impossible to them, or they get a couple people hanging up and they're just done.
Yeah.
So we deal with the same thing. We're like, okay, you did not fail. You just stopped.
Yeah. And we talk a lot about the special sauce.
The special sauce. Tell us about
the special sauce. There is no special sauce. Like, some people are like, there's got to be another way to do this. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be an easier way. There is no special sauce. These are the 6 ways we're going to teach you how to prospect. Pick 2 of the 6 and just do them, because there's no special sauce. It's what you do. It's rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat.
Right. It really is.
It's funny. It really does need to live like this. Your full-time job is hunting for people, and you talked about tech solutions. Tell me about what you mean by, you've got, tech for talent scouts and tech. What do you consider to be tech for that? Because we're like, okay, Facebook messaging is prospecting. If you're doing it religiously, you can prospect on Facebook.
Yeah.
You got to do it 8 hours a day. I don't care. It's talking to people. There's no tech that's going to replace talking to people.
There's no special sauce for talking to people and getting belly to belly.
No special sauce. I'm stealing it. No special sauce. Rinse and repeat.
Tell me about your tech. Tell me about what you...
Yes. Just so you know, our tech does not replace special sauce.
Right.
We put it right out there. But we're all about setting and forget it. Set it and forget it. So we're a Chime company. We use Chime for our CRM. The agents use that as their CMS tool and their website tool. Absolutely love that. We beta tested Chime for them 6 years ago, and I absolutely love that CRM. They've got one of the biggest product roadmaps and probably the largest development team of any CRM in our real estate space. So I'm obviously biased, but if you need something, they'll push out a new feature within 5 to 7 days. That's unheard of with the tech.
Wow.
But they're growing significantly, and it's just a beautiful product. Do you guys use KV Core, I think, over there?
Well, it comes with EXP, but we've used Firepoint because it backs into Ylopo, and Ylopo's retargeting, and we think Howard and those guys are brilliant. I
believe Chime integrates with Ylopo also.
Well, then I'll be checking it out because I can make an intro for you.
That'd be great. You could get a better rate if I make an intro for you.
Nice.
Updates have been non-existent. So
that's, we're really big on the database, managing your database. Chime is incredibly robust on all fronts, text, email, pretty much any integration. Got it. We also were a Back At You media company, which helps integrate organically with Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter, where an agent will create one piece. It's almost like the Hootsuite of residential real estate. Hootsuite didn't work for real estate because of all of our fair housing and rest bus stuff. So this is the first Facebook and Instagram approved Hootsuite content calendar that will allow your content to be seen. It doesn't mess up the algorithm, which is a big issue with some of those other content calendars. So our agents, they can create a piece of content for the whole year. They've got their Happy New Year's, their Happy Valentine's, their St. Patty's, and they can just create that content one day, calendar it, and not think about it. Right. So it's just out there, it's ready to go. So things like that are some of the similar tools that we have. What else? We've got an open houses, direct to consumer open house app. And then we, in Phoenix, you guys may know this, we're like the hub of all the iBuyers down here.
Are you?
Blood in the water all day long. This is where Open Door, OfferPad, Zillow Instant Offers, they're all based here.
Wow.
So there's a company that just launched in Arizona, and I can make an introduction to you because they're fabulous for teams and brokerages, is called Zoodealio. And I know they're in Washington now, but Zoodealio is the first iBuying platform that actually empowers the realtor, where as we know, with Open Door, OfferPad, these companies are going direct to the consumer and squeezing us out of the deal, where Zoodealio is doing the same thing, but partnering with teams and brokerages to have us come in and negotiate and earn a fee on that. And they are scaling like crazy. It's awesome.
Cool.
Really great. It's a really great seller lead program, which in these low inventory markets, Seattle's bananas. It would be just a great way to just get more signs in the ground.
Great.
Awesome.
Love to check that because EXP has a express offers, which is sort of like the in-house, KCAV offers something like that.
Yeah.
In-house version of a cash buyer. But I'm the shiny objects guy in the team. We do a podcast because I was doing a podcast. So
we want to learn about it. I love that, Aaron.
I'm all over Back At You media from after this. I'm going to check. I love checking that stuff out. It's my bailiwick. I love doing that.
What are some of the things that you guys use? So you're in Fire. I don't know that one.
Firepoint. And it integrates. It's got texting, mass texting, which was what we couldn't get on.
That's huge.
Mass texting.
Yeah.
But BombBomb.
And it's with Ylopo and BombBomb. Yeah, both of the things those are big ones for us. Those two.
Yeah. BombBomb. Oh my God, what would we do without it? It's the best.
It is the best. So that integrates. And then we use Mailbox Power for our cards. They do, just our touches, our campaigns. And I think that's it. I don't know that we have any other major tech that we're using. Yeah, I don't have anything else.
And you guys are training your agents how to hunt. That's awesome, because a lot of these larger teams are more going the lead route.
We do have leads, but they're not, they're just regular leads. They have to go into the pond and go fish, and they have to call them, and they have to.
I love that.
Something.
Ylopo drops leads into the pond, and they go assigned on a round robin or realtor.com leads. We do some internet leads. We don't have a huge Zillow budget. We don't have any Zillow budget. We have
Zillow. Right, we stopped feeding the beast.
Yes, we're not doing that. But
we do. I did the same thing. Yeah. We use Sisu too, by the way. So we do. I don't know if you've used Sisu, but it's lovely. It's You count how many leads or how many contacts they made. It shows them their own trajectory. But we do a pipeline review every Thursday where we dig in with them on a Zoom call just like this, and it's public. And we see how many contacts did you make last week? How many dials did you do? How many texts did you send? How many open houses did you have? And then it just makes it so obvious, like, oh, well, just like with our girl today, she's like, I'm failing. We're like, no, you're 2.5 hours. That's what happened. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
you gave up for the day.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Then you gave up. And by the end of the conversation, she was like, oh, okay. Like she's fine. She's like, I could go work 6 hours, 8 hours.
Talked her off the ledge.
Yeah. But I mean, what else are you going to do? You got no, she's like, wow, you have to take everything off your plate. We're like, what else would be on your plate? You have no business. It's
this is your plate.
This is the whole plate. It's called talk to people. But yeah. Right. So those are some of the programs we use. And then we really do, much like you, we're like, put them in your database, put them on a drip campaign and go.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Monthly market updates and like that. And I had a question and it's gone because I'm old. What is it?
You're old.
I lost track of my thought about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, right. You said talent scouts. So we're stealing talent scouts.
You're a talent manager.
Talent manager. We've used, for that, Wise Hire, LinkedIn, anything you recommend for talent scouting?
For attracting talent.
It's really coming down to our core values and our value prop on education. Mm-hmm. Just really getting enmeshed in our local schools, speaking at the schools, being the thought leader around coaching at the schools. And that's been our biggest successor is partnering with some of these bigger schools. And we don't want to become a school because that is a whole nother business in itself. But partnering with them and being the best candidate in their eyes with our partnership with them has really been huge for us.
That's great.
Awesome. Excellent. I don't think our schools are, I don't even think are they live again or so, are your schools on Zoom still? Or
yes. I think they went back to in-person, but everybody stayed Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty wild, huh? Different.
Hey, we haven't even explored that. I think that's an interesting thing those partnerships, those connections. That's a very cool idea. Sarah, one of the things we just always ask everyone is any books that you love, anything that you'd recommend. What are you reading now? What's a staple? What's a book that you recommend that your agents read? We're big on having everyone read Miracle Morning and those practices, but what recommendations?
As a business owner, I've really grown in the last decade. I've owned this company now 11 years, and I've really reinvented myself probably 10 times. Right. One of the books that changed my life for me as a business owner, and I think can apply really well to teams and team leads and their businesses, is Traction. And learning that EOS system. That's really big. I'm in a group called Entrepreneur Organization, and it's been really helpful in being in a peer group with other business owners, and they're industry agnostic. It's not just real estate, but Traction is really good for helping you create process. It's almost like the Six Sigma for smaller businesses in creating process around growing. And depending on what your goals are for any organization, growth is always typically on that roadmap. So it really helps you put people, processes, money, and execution into play so you can grow your business successfully. And so that was probably one of the best business books. I read that about 6 years ago.
Game changer, huh?
Traction or attraction?
Traction.
Traction. Great.
Traction. Yep.
Excellent. All right, great.
Sarah, all right. Wait, I got one more question. I know we only got
I'm good.
What do you do for fun in your free time? Tell us about you. And
my gosh.
Your free time, like your 7 minutes a week you get.
Right? It's that. I've learned to love my 5 a.m. workouts. It used to be the biggest pain in my rear end. And now that's what I look forward to. I get up at my 4:20 every morning. I have my coffee, check a little bit of news, and I'm at the gym by 5. And so that's kind of become my church, is just really making sure I find that when my body is in shape, my brain is better at work. So that's my biggest one. It probably sounds really lame, but I'm trying to stay disciplined around that. And I found joy in being able to stick with that.
Good for you. Wow. Really extraordinary.
Yeah, thank you.
I like my 6 a.m. workouts, but I only like it at 7 a.m. when I'm done.
You like your 6 a.m. at 7 a.m.?
I love it.
He likes it when it's done.
When it's done at 7 a.m.
Oh, that's good.
I feel good. Yay.
Yeah, I'd like to move to 6 a.m. at some point, but it doesn't give me enough time to get those kids to school.
Yeah.
So I've got to be back at home, hitting it, running at about 6. So
Gotcha. Very good. Sarah, I just really do appreciate the time. It is great to meet you. We're going to be a network of contribution forever now. We're going to send you the podcast, but, just thank you for your time and for the contribution you were to us.
Thank you for having me. You guys do a great job. This is so fun.
Yeah, it's
so glad. And I'll, the connections that we talked about, I'll ask you about Zoom.
Absolutely. I'll connect you with anyone.
Okay, great.
Isn't that great?
Yay.
Thanks, everybody. Nice to meet you. Take care.
Nice to meet you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Abundant Life Podcast, brought to you by Christine & Company and eXp Realty, the global online brokerage powered by top agents and cutting-edge technology. If you liked what you heard, consider subscribing wherever you listen to podcasts. Your hosts have been award-winning brokers Christine Andreasen and Aaron Hendon. For more on them, visit christineandcompany.com.